Good afternoon. This hearing is called to order. This is the public hearing of the City Council Committee on the Environment. The purpose of the public hearing is to hear testimony on Bill number 200090. I recognize the presence of a quorum of committee members, and members of the committee in attendance are to my left, our Majority Leader, Councilwoman Parker, Councilmember Helen Gim, Councilman Derek Green, and Councilmember Kendra Brooks. Thank you all so much for being here. Do any of my colleagues have any opening remarks? Okay, seeing none, I'd like to say this is our first Committee on Environment hearing in the new term, and my first as chair of the Committee on Environment, so we're really excited to be hosting this hearing today. The clerk will please read the title of the bill being considered today.
An ordinance amending Chapter 9-3400 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Energy Conservation by amending Section 9-3403 entitled Solar Panel Incentives, amending certain definitions under certain terms and conditions.
Okay, thank you. The clerk will please call the first witness to testify on this bill.
Christine Knapp, Office of Sustainability.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please state your name for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Good afternoon, Chair Gilmore Richardson and members of the committee. My name is Christine Knapp. I'm the Director of the Office of Sustainability for the City of Philadelphia. I'm here to testify in support of Bill 200090, which makes technical amendments to the Solar Incentive Program established through legislation last year. The Office of Sustainability works to improve community quality of life and prepare Philadelphia for a hotter and wetter future due to climate change. In Philadelphia, almost 80% of our carbon emissions come from buildings and industry, which is why it's so important to focus our efforts on making our buildings more energy efficient and to move them towards using clean energy. Providing renewable electricity to Philadelphians is one of the most effective mechanisms for combating climate change. However, solar energy usage has several other co-benefits. As solar generation becomes more affordable, it will become easier to add Philadelphia homes in every neighborhood to lower energy bills and provide clean power. Citywide solar will help displace fossil fuel generation from our regional electricity grid, reducing air pollution, making its way into Philadelphia. And installing solar generation citywide will generate new local job opportunities, including those for students of the Bright Solar's Futures Initiative run by the school district and the Philadelphia Energy Authority. We were happy to support the passage of the original legislation to create the solar panel incentive program. However, some of the technical definitions would have prohibited some properties that were intended to be included from being eligible to participate. Bill number 200090 provides greater clarity on these properties in order to ensure that more types of solar installations are able to benefit from the program. Therefore, we are happy to provide support for Bill number 200090. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. Thank you for taking on the chair of this committee. We look forward to working with you more in the future, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Great. Thank you for your testimony. Are there any questions or comments from members of the committee for this witness? The chair recognizes Councilmember Green.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Ms. Knapp, for being here to testify on this bill that I sponsored along with Chair of this committee, Catherine Gilmore Richardson, as a co-sponsor. Wanted to just get a perspective on the fact that one of the biggest producers of carbon emissions are buildings, and we've done work on the residential properties with this amendment, and some of the work we've done with the Energy Authority over the years on Solarize Philly and some of the other programs. But one of my major concerns are commercial buildings, and I introduced in past legislation last term regarding CPACE, and we made some amendments to grow that. The Energy Authority has been really reaching out to a lot of property owners to explain to them the benefits of solar installation on commercial buildings. I believe the CPACE legislation, which the enabling legislation came through Governor Wolf's office. Other states have similar legislation, but we had not done anything here locally. Will help to promote additional commercial property owners to realize the benefits of solar panels, solar installation on their properties, because now the payback time is more aligned with the general ownership time of a property. But I was curious, from your perspective, are there additional steps that we can do to get more, especially on the commercial property side, entities to participate in ways to reduce carbon emissions and reduce some of the concerns and causes of climate change?
Yeah, I think the CPACE legislation was certainly a really welcomed and helpful step, so thank you for that leadership on that front. Also, last session, Council passed the Building Energy Performance legislation, which will require the largest commercial buildings in the city to either achieve a high-performance building standard or to tune up their building every 5 years in order to make sure that they're operating efficiently and reducing energy use. We think that's going to be a really impactful program for cutting carbon from that commercial sector of buildings. I think we also have some non-legislative ways that we can work on moving that sector. One is the Climate Collaborative that we launched in October. Councilmember Gim came to the launch. That's really a voluntary effort for large institutions, businesses, others who have sort of an outsized impact on producing carbon to sort of voluntarily set goals and work together to find solutions. So that group that met in October was immediately invited to participate in a workshop on how to do solar power purchase agreements, which, as you know, the city did, and council approved the contract for that. 25 or so of those 40 companies came to that workshop, and now we're hearing from a number of different attendees. I don't want to give anyone's news away, but a number of different attendees who are ready to announce that their own solar power purchase agreements. So we think there's something to be said about sharing best practices with each other and pushing folks to do the right thing when we know it's going to be good for the economy, good for saving them energy costs, and sort of creating more sort of action towards climate. So.
And recently, Governor Wolf proposed the budget for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. It's probably in the range of $34 billion. I had a chance to kind of briefly look at various aspects of the budget, but I have not had a chance to look at it from a lens regarding climate change. From your either information or observations, are there additional initiatives coming from the governor's office or additional resources being put into existing initiatives that can help with some of the concerns that are being addressed in this legislation? One of the things that I know you and I have talked, and also myself and Ms. Shapiro from the Energy Authority, if we could have CPACE on multifamily buildings, which would be a very, very big opportunity to further reduce climate change, because not only commercial buildings are big producers of carbon emissions, but multifamily properties, especially when you look at the impact of the development over the past number of years in the construction industry and a number of the high rises that have been constructed in the city of Philadelphia.
Yep.
So having the ability to have CPACE on those type of properties would also be beneficial to address climate change. So
Yep.
Curious if you've seen anything in the governor's budget address that's either new or additional resources or new executive branch initiatives to address this issue from your observation.
I haven't dug into it deeply as of yet either, but I know that that RGGI, the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative proposal that the governor's put forward, is a huge step forward. This is a program that other states surrounding us have all been participating in for a number of years and have seen success in terms of reducing greenhouse gas emissions via this program. So I'm really happy to see the governor stepping forward and trying to pursue RGGI for Pennsylvania. It's long overdue. I think there's a number of other possible legislative actions that we've been wanting to see out of Harrisburg for a number of years. One would be updating the Alternative Energy Portfolio Standard, which when it passed in 2005 was really forward-thinking and really made a big dent in growing a renewable energy sector in Pennsylvania, but in 2020 is just not really being effective policy to get us where we need to go. So we need to see the solar carve-out of that AEPS bill dramatically increased. Under Governor Rendell, there was also a sunshine program that helped to sort of, as the solar panel incentive program locally is doing, help to provide direct grants and rebates for folks who were installing solar. So I think more dollars allocated at the state level would also be helpful, given that the federal tax credit will be sort of stepping down this year and the next several years going forward. So those are a few additional things. I haven't seen, again, the policy details to see, other than RGGI. I know the governor's pursuing where some of the other AEPS or sunshine sort of dollars may go.
So no, no growing greener part 3 from your observation.
Perhaps.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Green.
Those were the days.
The chair would like to recognize the presence of the Vice Chair of the Committee on Environment, Councilmember Cindy Bass. Yes, would you like to have any remarks?
Well, I just want to thank the bill sponsors, really, for the clarity that the bill provides and the opportunity for, for us to make sure that we're doing everything that we can in the city of Philadelphia to be more sustainable. So, there are a lot of challenges ahead of us, and, obviously global warming is one of them. It's real. We haven't had snow. But beyond all of that, whatever we can do to minimize or reverse effects has to be done. So I just really wanted to, thank you for your support of the bill, the administration for their support, and also the bill sponsor and co-sponsor, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Councilmember Bass. Is there anyone else in chambers here to testify on this bill? Anyone else? Okay. Seeing none, that concludes the public hearing on the bill before the committee today. We will now go into the public meeting to consider the action to be taken on bill number 200090. The chair recognizes our vice chair, Councilmember Bass, for a motion on bill number 200090.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that bill number 200090 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
Thank you. It has been moved and properly seconded that bill number... Okay. It has been moved and properly seconded that bill number 200090 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Bill number 200090 will be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, with a request that the rules of council be suspended to first reading at the next session of council. Okay, that concludes our public meeting. Thank you.